Hey everybody, welcome to episode 3 of Knock It Off. Alright, the next thing I'm going to rant about is going to be quite a controversial subject, but then again, what is not controversial that I haven't talked about? I mean, if we recap, I talked about America not being a Christian nation, and I talked about gun control. But this one I'm going to talk about is going to be a very all-encompassing topic, and it's going to piss some people off. It's about the difference between natural law and man's law. Now, we're getting to natural law, but there's one thing I want to say about man's law. All man's law is satanic. I'm going to say that again just in case you didn't hear what I said, or just in case you're like, what did you just say? Like you heard me, but you just couldn't believe what you heard. Yes, all man-made law is satanic. True story. The reason why I say this is because if you look at natural law is also known as universal law, spiritual law. But and when I talk about man-made laws, I'm talking about statutes that the government put out, or pretty much any kind of law that isn't basically self-explanatory as far as what happens in nature. So all man-made law is satanic because it doesn't come from nature. Put it this way: here's how you can tell if a law is satanic, or if a law is based off a natural law or not. First of all, is it right? If it's right, then chances are it's natural law. But there are some man-made laws that are right, don't get me wrong. But those that are right, those man-made laws that are right, most likely derive from natural law. Like don't kill. That's a natural law. But it could be rewritten by man. So it's just being represented as man's law. But an example that I'm talking about as far as man's law is something like the Patriot Act or the National Defense Authorization Act, where they can lock you up without charge or a trial, or without ever being told you committed a crime. You could just be snatched up, kidnapped, basically, locked up, and put away for God knows how long. Could be forever. Basically, you could be getting a life sentence and not even ever commit a crime. That's what I mean by satanic man-made law. Man-made laws or satanic man-made laws don't come from nature. What does come from nature, though? Well, let's talk about something called the 7 Hermetic Principles. The first one is the principle of mentalism. All is mind. Now, what is meant by all is mind is that what you think is going on out here, you looking at this video, or you looking at maybe something in front of you, like the computer or stuff. Believe it or not, everything is taking place inside of here. There is no out there. Everything is within us, within our minds. That's what the principle of mentalism is. Then you have the principle of correspondence. As is above, so is below. On earth, as it is in heaven. That's the second Hermetic principle. The third Hermetic principle is the principle of vibration. Nothing remains at rest. Everything vibrates, whether it's on a low vibration or high vibration. And this is the way you look at it. Spirit vibrates high. Matter vibrates low. But whether it's spirit or matter, it still vibrates. And that's what the polarity of vibration is. The principle of vibration. Which leads us to the number 4, which is the principle of polarity. For one thing, there is an absolute opposite. Hot, cold. Right, wrong. Left, right. Up, down. Principle of polarity. Number 5 is the principle of cause and effect. That might actually be number 6. But just in case, we'll just say, but it is definitely one of them. Cause and effect. Every cause has an effect. If you do one thing, the effect will manifest in physical reality. That's when you're talking about cause and effect. Nothing happens. You can't change anything on the plane of effects. You can only change them on the plane of causality, because cause is where it comes from. If something happened in reality, there was a cause for it. If something bad happened, there was a cause. If something bad happens to you, there was a cause for it happen bad, for that thing that happened to you to take place. Because whether you realize it or not, we're 100% responsibility. We create our own realities. So you're 100% responsible for your own life. That's something you have to accept. It took me a while to understand that, but whatever happens is because you did it. You caused it to happen. You may have done it subconsciously, but if it happened to you, it was your fault. And a lot of people don't like hearing that. But unfortunately, it's a truth that I have to live with. It's a truth that you have to live with. It's a truth that everybody on this planet has to live with. Next would be the principle of rhythm. There's rises and falls. You want a prime example of this? America. America and the Roman Empire, as a matter of fact. Actually, let's take the Roman Empire. Roman Empire had its rise. Nazi Germany had its rise. America had its rise. But then, eventually, it falls. That's the principle of rhythm. There's an ebb and flow. There's booms and busts. The principle of rhythm. And the final one, the seventh principle, is actually the principle of gender. There's a male and a female. There's nothing really much to say about that. Everybody, put it this way. Just like you have a left brain and a right brain. Left brain's masculine, right brain's feminine. Of course, you got a man and a woman, male and female. You have intellect and intuition. Intellect male, intuition female. You join them together, you got the divine child. You can't have balance without a female aspect. So if you look at things like the Bible, it's very, very male dominated, very patriarchal. That means it's off balance. There's no female. As a matter of fact, it downplays the female, just like Islam does. So you have the male and the female, and when they come together, you have the divine child. The divine child that's perfect. The principle of gender. But there's a lost principle, and by the way, I forgot to mention, this is not my material. The Hermetic principles go on for, they're ancient. They go back so far back. This is not new information. But I do want to credit a mentor that's helped me on my awakening, Mark Passio. If he does happen to see this video, hi, how you doing? I'm Mikey Indigo. But anyway, there's a lost principle that Mark Passio talks about. It's the principle of care. It brings all 7 of these Hermetic principles together. Because if you don't care, you can't go forward. Like, what's the point? Like, you got to have care. You got to care about what's going on in the world. You got to care about that our freedoms are being taken away. You got to care about that the government is getting out of control. You have to care that religion is mind control. You have to. Speaking of mind control, another thing. This also comes from Mark Passio, but this is also documented. Government. The word government itself is mind control. I've said this before in Rise of the Indigo. Mark Passio has mentioned this many times, and we are totally convinced that government is mind control. Gubernare means to control. Mens, or ment, is mental, mind. Gubernare, mente. Gubernare mens, government, mind control. So, when people say they need government, and I'm going to touch on another video about why I'm an anarchist. That's going to be most likely the next video. But government is what it says it is. It's about controlling this, making you believe whatever, telling you how to think. That's what government is. And that's why I don't trust government. Because I don't trust anybody who's trying to tell me how to think. I like thinking for myself. I like forming my own opinions. I don't like having an opinion formed for me and then being told that I cannot question. And just like religion is a form of government because it's a form of mind control. But anyway, there's also another thing that Mark Passio talks about when it comes to natural law and the two spiritual currencies. And this has nothing to do with the US dollar or gold or silver or any of those. Two spiritual currencies, time and attention. What you spend your time on and what you pay attention to is what you're going to get back. So if you spend your time just watching TV and your attention is just on that TV, whatever you get from that TV, that's what you're gonna bring upon yourself. You're gonna be conditioned to believe propaganda. You're gonna think the TV is the absolute authority on information. Like, that's why I said it's very important how you spend your time. If your time is spent doing something like trying to get people to wake up, trying to spread the word any way you can, that's good use of your time. If your attention is going on things that is going to build knowledge, keep you informed, so you know that when shit hits the fan, you'll know exactly what to do. That's investing your attention in something that's beneficial, something that will work for you, something that will serve you in the end. You put your time and attention into shit, you're going to get shit. Point blank. There's just no getting around it. So if you want to get the best out of life, put your time and attention into something that's going to work for you. Do not waste your time and don't invest your attention poorly. See? Spending time. Why do they put it this way? Why do they call it spending time? Like spending money. It's a currency. Investing attention, investing money, that's a currency, but it's a spiritual currency. Also, I've touched on this before. There's two vibrations. The vibration of fear and the vibration of love. The vibration of fear leads to ignorance. The vibration of love leads to knowledge. Knowledge of the truth. Knowledge of finding out who you are. And what's going on in the world. Now, from fear to ignorance, you get confusion. That's internal anarchy. Confusion. Well, you don't know what to do because you're afraid and you're ignorant, so you don't know what to do. So your head is all over the place. You don't know. You can't make head from tails. Excuse me. Now, from love to knowledge, you get sovereignty. Internal control. Internal monarchy. Actually, that's what Mark Passio calls it. That means you know who you are. You know that you're already free. You don't need a government to tell you you're free. You were born free. It's in the Declaration of Independence, even though, yes, the Constitution, by the way, the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence are man-made, so that would make them satanic. But it doesn't mean it's bad. Because, put it this way, the elite have to tell you what they're doing. And yes, it can inform you. So, the point I'm trying to make is that even though man-made law is satanic, you find gems in there. You find gems in the Bible. They say it's the word of God, but we know man wrote the Bible. So the Bible is satanic. Sorry to say. It's just the truth. The truth is never an easy pill to swallow, but it is the truth. And I feel better telling you the truth about what's going on than lying to you just so you can feel comfortable. And it's false comfort. But anyway, so we go from love, knowledge, sovereignty. Okay, so we covered that. And we got fear, ignorance, confusion. There's a fourth one. And you have to bear with me because I right off the bat, I don't remember what it is. So I actually have to check it. So, but basically what I want to say while I'm checking this information here is that natural law is the way to go. It's how our ancestors lived. Our ancestors went by natural law, the laws of nature. They were good to nature. They didn't let nature get destroyed. I talked about this in the first episode, very briefly, but I want to let me touch on this as a matter of fact a little bit more. But before I do that, I'm going to try and see if I can find that information. I can't find it right now. But anyway, oh, okay. I'm sorry. Now I remember. I'm sorry. I'm jumping back and forth. But now I remember what I was going to say. So we got love, knowledge, sovereignty, After that, you got freedom, which is what we're all trying to strive for on this planet, is to be free. To be free of dictatorships, to be free of New World Order, to be free who we are, and the lives we were supposed to live as free spiritual beings. That's what the goal is. Now, the polar opposite of that, going down the list again: fear, ignorance, confusion, control, external monarchy. Freedom is internal anarchy. Is external anarchy, by the way. Control is external monarchy, which means someone's got to force their will on you. They got to control you. They got to rule you. Now, the last one I'm going to touch on, then we're going to go back to what I was saying about natural law. The last one, from love, knowledge, sovereignty, freedom, order. You'll have order. As long as you follow that chain, you will have order automatically. But the polar opposite of that, and instead of going down the list, but just to rehash, so we got fear, ignorance, confusion, control, chaos. Yes, believe it or not, control will lead to chaos. Because the ones doing the controlling have free range to control you any way they see fit, no matter how brutal. That will lead to chaos, and eventually people will have enough, and they will rise up. But if we follow the chain that I was talking about before, by staying true to natural law, we won't have any of those problems. People like say, well, how are we going to have anarchy when people don't know how to act? That's the thing. People have to learn to change. And people do not like change. But the fact of the matter is, if you want any chance of anything getting better on this planet, you got to change. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Change is needed. You got to change your mind. You can't change the world outside. It starts here. When you start here, then you'll start seeing the changes, and they won't be overnight. Like people want to say, oh, you change this, right, and overnight everything will change. No. You change this, and you start applying the action, the things that you changed about yourself. You start projecting that outward, and that's when the change will start to happen. And it'll start slow, but the more you stick with it, the more you will see the change. But going back to what I said about natural law, and then I'll close it out, because I ran a little over. But in natural law, it means being good to nature. So if things are getting, it means not destroying the home that you're on. Put it this way. If I'm knowing someone destroys their own home, do you think I'm going to let them into my house? I see how you treat your home. So how the hell are you going to treat my home? We can't treat this planet with respect. But yet we want to talk about our galactic space brothers outside of this planet, in other areas of space. They want nothing to do. They want nothing to do with us until we grow up. If we can't grow up, we're not going to join that galactic community. And they want to. And put it this way. And yes, I am talking about extraterrestrials. They want to welcome us. The star races, like Pleiadians, the Arcturians. They want to get to know the human race. But that's not going to happen because we have not grown up yet. We still fight with each other. We still go to war. And we go to war over stupid shit, too. Shit that should have been obsolete, like oil. We have access to free energy ever since Nikola Tesla discovered it, but yet we're still using fossil fuels. And on top of that, screwing with the planet. But I'm going to tell you one thing. The planet is really giving us every warning, from earthquakes to tsunamis to hurricanes to storms, everything. Trying to warn us, listen, stop playing around. Because there's going to be one final cataclysm, and that one's going to wipe us out. But we refuse to listen, and I include myself in that too, because we're all in this together, point blank. This is not about me saying I'm so good that I never made a mistake, so I got to get on you. That would be unfair and hypocritical. But one thing is, I'm aware of that, and I try to live my life the best way I can within natural law, because if you live in harmony with natural law, then you're living in harmony with nature and living in harmony with Earth, and then you will ascend with the Earth. Until then, we're not going anywhere. Forget about seeing our space cousins out there, the star races, because they know we haven't grown up yet. So until we do grow up, it's not going to happen. Anyway, to close this out, Make sure to visit the website shattertheillusion.wordpress.com. The YouTube channel is Rise Beyond the Matrix. This is the end of episode 3 of Knock It Off. So just to close out once again, learn about law. Learn that man-made law is satanic law, and knock it off with hurting the planet. And if you're letting the planet get hurt and you're not doing anything about it, knock it off. Get off your ass. Do something. Make your voice known. Like one of us may not be able to make a huge impact, but 1 million of us can. 10 million of us can. Hell, 100,000 can make an impact. The fact of the matter is, it takes action. You could say, "Oh, I feel this way." You could agree with everything I say, but until you're actually putting that into practice and taking action and putting that into practice, don't say shit. Real talk. Don't say a goddamn thing, because you could talk all you want. You could do this. This could flap until 2016. This could go yak 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 yak. That can go all day. What are you doing to put this into practice? What are you doing to apply the things you're learning in this video? What are you doing to do that? This is Mikey Indigo. Peace. Stay vigilant. Stay awake.